Good evening and welcome to Platter Chatter, the show that critiques and analyzes music on the cutting edge of today's scene. I'm Scott Goldfine.
And I'm Malissia Simpson, and we want to welcome you again to another edition of Platter Chatter. We have some very interesting musical guests tonight. One woman and two bands.
That's right. The first one we're going to check out is called Holy Water by Bad Company, veteran rock band from the 70s. And then we're going to check out
Barbara Weathers with her debut album entitled Barbara Weathers. And also, who else?
We're going to wind it up with 24/7 Spyz, a quartet of rowdy guys out of the East with Gumbo
Millennium.
Yeah, we almost said that in unison.
We should have.
So, Bad Company. We did review their previous album, Dangerous Age, which did go gold in 1988 on this show. And I think we pretty much thought it was a competent work then. This new effort is, the title track is zooming up the rock charts, Holy Water. And, you know, they started off in the 70s with a string of hits like Can't Get Enough of Your Love and Feel Like Making Love. They've been staples on album-oriented rock stations ever since then.
Exactly.
They were very influenced by Led Zeppelin and other blues rock bands. The former lead singer Paul Rodgers has since left. They broke up in the early 80s and reformed with their new vocalist. And they're a trio. They have never had their own bass player. It's kind of a strange phenomenon, but they've always had a studio bass player and guitar player, drummer, and vocalist are actually members of the Bad Company band itself.
In a way, they kind of remind me of a little bit of Foreigner and a little bit of Boston, you know?
Well, they've certainly gone that way.
It's almost like, I don't know, commercialized pop, maybe, pop, rock.
It is pop rock, and we're going to listen to the first single, which is called Holy Water. Right now, here's Bad Company.
And that was Holy Water by Bad Company. You know, I like this song. It's very interesting.
Yeah, I'm so relieved that you like it.
I always say it's interesting. What I like about this song is it's steady, kind of slow rock, you know, and I like the drum in the background.
Well, it's got a little more
low key, but I like it.
It's got a little more filling and a little less generic than the bulk of the disc, which, you know, certainly isn't really that identifiable as a unique band unto itself the way Bad Company used to be. They started out being very blues-based, and of course Paul Rodgers' vocals were more distinctive and unique than this particular vocalist. Although proficient, they do definitely kind of sound more generic now, as you said, kind of a Foreigner type of sound.
Exactly, and I think out of the original band members, there are two original band
members
left.
Right, well, there's two of the three.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to let you be the judge on this next track, which is called I Don't Care. We're going to listen to it right now by Bad Company once again. back in the studio with Platter Chatter listening to Bad Company, that track called I Don't Care, one of a trio of particular cuts that are towards the end of the disc that I think are better than most of what's on there. They're a little slower, a little funkier, a little more rhythmic, a little grittier, a little less, you know, just kind of mainstream, generic pop rock sounding.
That song, you mean?
Well, the trio songs, that one and a couple of other ones that go before it and after it.
Well, Scott, I'm going to give this a rating right now because I don't think our public really wants to wait for that. Our ratings are based on discs ratings. Unfortunately, we don't have the discs with you, but on our disc rating system of 1 to 5, 5 being best, I'm going to give this a 2. It's a little too generic for me, just a little too commercialized, you know, and not enough soul.
You stole my thunder again, darn it. I give them a 2 also on our disc rating system, 1 to 5, 5 being best. Basically, the reason they got as high as a 2 for me is because some of the riffs, there are some good riffs in there. And I just, you know, hate to lose all faith in the band because I was a fan of theirs from days gone by, but the songwriting and just doesn't seem to quite be up to snuff this time around. They're just, you know, got to be distinctive, make a mark being distinctive instead of just, you know, another member of the pack. So Bad Company gets a pair of deuces from us.
Well, we're going to move on to something a little more enlightening, if you could call it that. The young lady's name is Barbara Weathers. You may remember her from Atlantic Starr. She used to be a singer for that group. And now she's gone on to make her debut album, and it is titled Barbara Weathers. What else?
That's right. She sang on a couple of huge ballad hits for Atlantic Starr, including Always, omnipresent wedding first dance song.
Secret Lovers.
Secret Lovers, yeah. Staples on pop and black radio. Mm-hmm. She's a pleasant singer, although I wouldn't say she's got tremendous range, but she's very capable.
Well, why don't we go right ahead? We're going to listen to a song called The Master Key. This is Barbara Weathers.
Sometimes when I feel like I'm losing it, the reason is very plain to see. You work in my way, so you can brighten my day. That's what you did for me. It was no mistake. You fixed my heartache and put a new smile on my face. Ooh, yeah. Hold the key. Baby, the master key to unlock my heart. The key, baby, to a brand new start. Don't you hold the key, baby, the master key to unlock my heart. The key, baby, ooh, oh. There's magic in your hands that reaches out for me. Didn't catch me when in any crisis, boy, you remain so damn calm to me, as if you're waiting for my frantic call. The man that's upstairs, he must be smiling on me, 'cause there's no other explanation of how can I explain. It's just too good to be.
back in studio. You were listening to Barbara Weathers off of her debut album called Barbara Weathers, and the name of that cut video was called The Master Key. I've been wondering what happened to the key. I kept looking at the video wondering where's the key, and they did at the end.
You persevered, you had faith, and there it was.
You know, she's very pretty, very sexy. She's a very nice, gentle voice. I would love to see a duet between she and Howard Hewitt. I think that'd be great.
That may happen.
That'd be very
That particular track is definitely the strongest one on the album. It's
True.
got a very catchy chorus hook to it, and that's produced by David P. Conley of the band Surface, who had a number of, I think they had a couple #1 hits on the Black Chart last year, as a matter of fact. Other producers featured on this include Wayne Lewis, who was one of the driving forces behind Atlantic Starr, and apparently the split was very amicable between the two parties. And also producing on that is Maurice White from Earth, Wind & Fire, who produces 3 tracks.
You know, in some places, I don't know whether you will agree with me, I think she sounds, or her styling is a little bit like Patty Austin. And I know that you don't agree with me on this for sure, but some of her phrasing, I think, or the depth of her voice kind of reminds me a little bit of Angela Winbush. I know you don't see the similarity.
Yeah, I don't really agree with that, because I think that those vocalists harken back more to a Chaka Khan type of influence. And I don't really hear a lot of Chaka Khan influence in Barbara Weathers. I think that she's smoother and kind of more of a supple kind of voice, and not not as dominating or powerful, or not really as gritty. And as I say, it's pleasant, capable R&B, but not real grabbing.
Well, we're going to move on to the next one. This is another cut off of her album. It's called Our Love Will Last Forever.
We'd have to go through some rain, and we both knew when we said we loved each other, we'd have to go through some pain. But we can't let anything be stronger than our love. We have to be able to see that with love and trust, we can always work things out. Baby, we'll be as one for eternity. Our love will last forever. Our love will last forever. With love in our hearts, that's a very good start. Our love will last forever.
Hey, back in studio with Platter Chatter, listening to Barbara Weathers in her debut, that one called Our Love Will Last Forever. And that one, very nice, kind of a jazzy feel to it. Certainly, I think, a good choice for a second single.
Absolutely. I think both of these songs would do very well. And there's one song on the album that, unfortunately, I wish I could remember the name. It's very operatic. It almost sounds like she's on a stage singing opera.
Right, it closes out the disc. There are 3 ballads on it, and certainly I think the other 2, aside from the opera one, might please fans of Always and Secret Lovers and things like that. Very melodic, as opposed to rhythmic R&B ballads. And I think fans of contemporary R&B will find some pleasing things on this LP, although it doesn't really tickle my fancy all that much. And our disc rating system 1 to 5, 5 being best, I give Barbara Weathers a 2.5.
Well, Scott, I'm going to do you one better. I was not completely impressed, but I think that for her first solo album, I think she's done well. And so I'm going to give it a 3, because I hope that she will do better. I'm sure she will, and I'm looking for greater things from her.
Okay, so that wraps it up for Barbara Weathers. We're going to move on to the next disc we're going to be checking out. And Melissa, why don't you tell them all about it?
It's 24/7 Spyz now. This is another album from them, and the name of the album is called Gumbo Millennium. Now, if some of you out there like soul food, you're probably going to love this album. It's very, very innovative and very unique. It's got a rap, it's got a little bit of rock, it's got just a combination of things, and I was pleasantly surprised. I really didn't think I was going to like it at all, but I was really pleasantly surprised.
They're without a doubt an intense blending of all kinds of musical styles. They look to throw you for loops. You never know. When listening to them, you can't let your guard down, because you may get into a groove, and all of a sudden they'll just come blaring in with something else, like a polka beat into a funk song, and then a metal rhythm or something. They throw everything but the kitchen sink in there.
I was doing the polka too when I was listening to this.
That'd make them happy. They had a track on their last album, which was kind of a humorous, it's that one called Tango Skin Polka. So, but this is their second LP. Their debut last year, Harder Than You, did fairly well and had a cover of Kool and the Gang's Jungle Boogie, which was a moderate hit.
You did an interview with them.
I interviewed them, and they were a great bunch of guys, you know, young and just so taken with the fact that they were getting all this attention, and, and they were worried if it was normal to be getting so much attention your first time out. But, you know, they're interesting, and they play their instruments, and, you know, they come out of New York, and most of their contemporaries coming out of New York are getting into rap and things like that. So they're kind of, you know, off on the side getting into this whole real instrument, rock, funk, metal, you know, punk, whatever kind of music you can think of, they play it.
We're going to give you a chance to open your ear hole and check out a little bit. We're going to listen to a cut called Don't Push Me. This is 24/7 Spyz.
Don't push me! Because my girl wasn't black, she was white, and I told him I love her so much. Don't push me! Don't push me! We are all of equal worth, lovingly blessed at each and every birth. Placed here to make a difference. Disregard skin and all of its consequences. You see, we all have a duty. We must stand up for equality. We must do the absolute right thing and reverse the trouble we've gotten in. We must start to educate the children, teach them the change for the world they're living in. Show them how to obtain with the positive. You see, nothing happens when you're dealing with fugitives. They must know that learning is mandatory.
That was 24/7 Spyz. In case you just joined, you're watching Platter Chatter, and I'm Malissia Simpson. I'm sitting here with Scott Goldfine, but he really doesn't matter right now. The name of that cut was Don't Push Me. There, as we said earlier, there's a combination of things. There's a cut on this album called Back in the Past, and it goes from hip-hop to doo-wop, 60s doo-wop, and it changes here and there. And there's a little reggae on a song called Death Style. They really... just when you think that it's going to be the same thing, like you said, all of a sudden they just totally change direction and go a totally different way.
Exactly. That particular cut, written by their drummer, Anthony Johnson, is, you know, certainly a throwback to, of course, the Funkadelic influence and, you know, kind of Red Hot Chili Peppers thing, but it's actually, you know, a little grittier and funkier and straight ahead than the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Interesting thing about the Chili Peppers, when I did speak with the boys, they... you know, didn't really like the analogy to the Red Hot Chili Peppers because they said, you know, okay, this sounds a little similar, but they can never teach us anything about funk. And maybe on that track they prove it.
Well, you know, when I listened to this, I felt like I was watching, I felt like I was in a theater watching a Broadway play because it's very musical and it changes, and I could just had this mental image in my mind of them singing their songs in different vignettes or things going on throughout the you know, album, as though you were watching a play, like a musical.
Right. Well, there's a whole concept behind this thing, and I want to share with our viewers right now exactly what it is. This comes from the guitar player Jimmy Hazel, who took his name from Jimi Hendrix, of course, and Eddie Hazel from Funkadelic, and there you have the name. Gumbo Millennium. Once upon a time, there was a comet flying across the sky. The comet was called Gumbo Millennium. It only came around every 1,000 years. When this comet exploded, 4 offshoots fell and landed here on Earth. Of course, it's the band. They didn't reach a peak until 1990, this year. They're getting ready to peak, when they made the kind of music that only comes around once every 1,000 years. That's what we are, Gumbo Millennium. A big stew with everything in it but the kitchen sink that only comes along once every 1,000 years. So being very modest, that's the concept behind this album. And we're going to go to the next track right now by 24/7 Spyz, Don't Break My Heart.
There was you, there was me, everything was so far and I could see for my love was so slow, but something deep inside told me that I was wrong. Could it be your memory from the past? were meant to last. There's somewhere else you'd rather be. Why don't you cut these ties and set me free? So you want, so you why. You should never play with love, and that's good advice. Wanna know how you feel? Gotta tell me something, baby. What you need? Oh no, don't break my heart. Oh no.
Back in studio once again, listening to the final track from 24/7 Spyz. I think that one, Don't Break My Heart, definitely the best single choice because the rest of them are just a little bit probably too off the wall, too avant-garde for most radio. They tackle a number of themes on their album. It's funny. They tackle social issues, racism. They talk about freedom in foreign countries such as Poland, Romania, and all that kind of stuff. And 24/7 Spyz, although they're very humorous and wild, they keep an ear to the ground of what's happening, watch news, watch TV. They're very media and news conscious.
There's a song in there, they talk a little bit about love and sex and things like that, and there's a song on there, should I mention the name of it?
Why not?
It's called Kulo. If you want to get down and nasty, I think you ought to check it out. But it's very funky, and it's funny, and it's very lighthearted, and it's a great song. That's probably my favorite song, just because of the way it sounds, you know?
Okay, well, our disc rating system, 1 to 5 being best, 24/7 Spyz Gumbo Millennium is going to get a 4.5 from myself.
Well, Scott, I'm not going to go quite that high, but I am going to give them a 3.5 because I was very intrigued with this album. And
You messed up real bad.
did I?
Yeah.
How?
Okay, it's way too low.
Well, guys, I didn't get to meet you. Scott did, so maybe if I see you the next time, I'll give you a higher rating. But I'm really into the album, and I think it's
It's
pretty
definitely much better than their first one. Keep up the good work. I think it may find its way into my top 10. You never know.
good. Well,
So, summarizing our ratings,
we started with Bad Company. I gave them a 2.
so did I.
And Barbara Weathers, I gave her a 3.5. And Scott,
Gave her a 2.5.
and I gave 24/7 Spyz a 3.5. Maybe I should change it, but
No,
that
it's too
wouldn't
late.
be right. And Scott gave them a 4.5.
That's right.
So there you have it. What's coming up next?
Well, in the coming weeks, we're going to be looking to take a look at possibly Harry Connick Jr.'s new LP. There's one from Anita Baker on the way. We also have The Time, of course, coming.
Okay. What do you think about Prince? You think maybe we'll hear a little bit about Prince?
Oh, that's right. We had a chance to hear some of the upcoming music from Graffiti Bridge, the new Prince movie, and it's got music in it by Mavis Staples, George Clinton, some other new artists, as well as Prince, and some very interesting stuff in there. A particular track to be on the lookout for, remember you heard here first, is Power Generation.
Well, now that you've heard it from Scott, you're going to hear it from me. We want to thank you very much for watching our show. Once again, we ask if you do watch and you like it, or even if you are somewhere in between, we wish that you would write us or call us and just, give us your comments. We'd really love to hear from you because we do the show for you and we want to make you happy. So from Scott Goldfine and from myself, Malissia Simpson, I want to say adios, amigos y amigas.